I didn't play much of Path of Exile 2 Dawn of the Hunt. I wasn't enjoying it. Drops were non-existent, early builds felt weak, and nothing I did mattered. RNG was the only thing that counted, and I was really unlucky. 0.3.0 feels different. For the first time in PoE 2, my choices matter. And that change has made the game fun. Let's look at what's working, what still isn't, and why 0.3 feels like a strong step in the right direction. While early levelling is still a chore, by about the end of Act 2, both my characters were starting to feel strong. You heard that right, I have 2 characters in maps already. My first character was the Acolyte of Chayula that some of you voted for me to start playing first, and Gazzy's Crazy Ant minion build. What's more, my goal for this league is to roll at least one of each class. Now let's talk about balance. Class balance is still a problem, at least in the early game. My minion build character, which I actually practiced with and was actually so weak in 0.2, feels so strong compared to the monk early in 0.3. This comes as no surprise. Balancing Path of Exile has always been complicated because of all the skills and all the supports that have to be balanced. But I don't think some small numeric changes in early skills would cause much harm, and it would go a long way to making Act 1 not feel like such a slog. One thing that really stands out this time around is the drop rate improvements. They're noticeable throughout all levels of the game, and they help with the ramping power fantasy. Instead of waiting on a lucky spike, you're getting steady upgrades, and that makes your character feel stronger as you go. That alone makes a huge difference compared to Dawn of the Hunt. But the one killer feature is deterministic crafting. We have some of it back, and it's strong. For the first time in Path of Exile 2, I feel like I'm shaping my gear instead of just praying for RNG. Both of my characters made it to maps pretty much of my own crafts, and that feels incredible. The deterministic crafting comes from the Essence rework and new Abyssal crafting, both of which are easy and intuitive to use. Another thing that's helped alleviate the tedium is sprinting. Before, when you hit those big empty stretches of map, it just dragged. Now you can sprint around and it makes the whole game feel snappier. It certainly doesn't fix everything, but it really smooths out the pacing. A lot of people have complained that the sprint mechanic is clunky, and to some degree it is, but you do get used to it. Something that feels notably worse this league is defense. I seem to need way more evasion and energy shield to feel safe. Maybe that's just me, or maybe it's a case of GGG overtuning the new content, which they definitely have, especially the Abysses. But either way, it stands out. My Acolyte of Chayula has died so many times it's embarrassing, even while I was stacking defences. In contrast, my minion builds sailed through much more smoothly, with the minions taking the brunt of the onslaught. The endgame does feel better and less dull in the Third Edict. The 25 new maps add some much needed variety, but it's still buggy. Most notably, some maps just refuse to open, and what really bothers me is the lack of control of the maps we're forced to run. Too often they're sprawling layouts with a ton of backtracking that takes way too long. This is where I want more agency. Let me shape the maps I'm running, more like in PoE 1, instead of leaving it all to the Atlas, or at least give us some nice linear maps to break up the pain. Out of all the new maps I've seen so far, only one actually feels linear. Let me know what you think in the comments below. So overall, the Third Edict feels like a strong step in the right direction for the game. The crafting overhaul, better drops, and even sprinting gives you way more agency than we had back in Dawn of the Hunt, but defensive and overtuned content with messy endgame maps still hold the game back. The big question now is, can GGG keep building on the momentum, or will we swing back to frustration? The patches so far have been a bit hit and miss, but GGG has proven time and time again that they do listen to the player base, so I'm confident that the game will continue to improve. If I were to give this patch a score, it would be a strong 7 out of 10. And with that, thanks for watching, and may the RNG be with you.